These people sound, in spite of their reputation and their connections and the business that they have, they sound evil.
Well, you know,
I'm not asking you to comment on that, but I'm going to tell you that's what I think,
right?
That they're evil.
Well, you know what?
Because even the devil himself appears as an angel of light.
What upsets me more about it is the fact that they publicize how Christian and how kind-hearted they are.
Yeah.
But really, how kind is it to allow this father to
rip a family apart, to rip a child.
Deprive the child of the love she has for her mother. I have emails saying, I will never deprive you of our child because I know how much you love her. I have, emails like that.
Yeah.
And how wonderful of a mother my daughter is. She only has 4 days and is fighting to remove those 4 days from her.
Yeah.
My granddaughter would be destroyed.
Yeah.
He doesn't realize the harm he would do to her.
And here, let me just say something about this, because, people have known that I've been a little bit vocal about some things. Mm-hmm. Same situation.
Right.
Christian man, missionary,
mm-hmm.
actually the man that married me, funds the divorce, and also his wife has been, well, Jody knows because she reached out to Jody and said things, told Jody that my daughter had epilepsy because I beat her. Well, number one, I didn't beat her. Number two, she doesn't have epilepsy. She has a driver's license in Texas. If she had epilepsy, she would not be able to drive.
Oh,
all of these crazy, nutty things. Christian woman, missionary, godly person. I wrote to the church, mm-hmm. and I said, this is what the people that you have sent mm-hmm. out to missionaries in Mexico are saying, doing, and have done.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. And like what you said, you know what? I'm the crazy one,
mm-hmm.
because I would dare to breathe word that perhaps these people, these esteemed people of God, these people that are such respectable, wonderful Christians,
mm-hmm. up front.
Yeah, and that's what in the book of Matthew in chapter 23. Jesus talks to the scribes and the Pharisees, the religious leaders
mm-hmm.
of the days. He calls them hypocrites,
vipers,
brood of snakes. You children of hell. Right. Basically, you appear all whitewashed and clean, but inside you're full of dead men's bones.
Right.
You stink.
And that's it. It's your actions that count, not what you say.
Yeah.
Initially I really loved this family. I really did. I thought, wow, they're wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and every other word is praise the Lord, praise the Lord. I live up north and nobody says praise the Lord there,
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that they don't believe in God.
Yeah.
And I thought they're very, religious people, and but
people can do a lot of evil in the name of
religion.
Christian.
Yeah. And they call themselves Christian. I don't know.
Yeah. People can do a lot of evil in the name of religion.
Yeah. And because of their influence, they get a lot of support.
Yeah.
People coming to court to lie. People that work for them. That are involved in their jobs depends.
They're paying
on them.
your bills. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's a shame. We can keep fighting it, keep raising our voice. Thank you so much for being willing to sit down here, because I know I caught you completely off guard, but
I know. We were there to interview some cases, some child protective cases, CPS cases, and then you turned the camera, and I thought, well. Yeah, I have been silent, but I do have to say something.
Yeah.
But one thing led to another, and then I finally started talking about my own case, which I never do.
Yeah.
I never talk about it.
And that's where that's always the problem that I find, especially with grandparents. And here's why, because grandparents are given, and I hate to put it like this, but they're given a little carrot in front of them. If you do this, maybe you'll get to see your granddaughter. If you do this, they'll lead you around. And I know many grandparents that would tell me, they said, I can't talk about this. I can't talk about this. Because if I do, I might not be able to see my grandchildren.
Right.
And it's a shame, that they will have a court order come out against them. And I've thought to myself, I took a different approach. I'm not saying it's right or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But my approach was, you've already done this to me. Mm-hmm. You as a child now want to control me. You want to control this entire relationship. You know that had I not been there, one of your sons may be out in another family right now because your mother was trying to force him up for adoption. The other one may either be dead. I think there was a very slight possibility of that, or mentally impaired for the rest of his life.
Right.
And now you're kicking me out of the family. I was the one who was there all the time, and you know, and
some of these.
and when she said, "I'm going to erase your memory from them," and I've said, "You know what?" And I don't. She was a very immature response, but at a certain point, I've said, "You know, she's going to do this. These grandchildren are going to, maybe they will have those memories. I am going to do everything possible
Right,
for them to make sure." I mean, I'm supporting films, I'm doing this. Their names are mentioned all over the place. I've got people throughout the United States that know of Cruz and Gideon Morgan, because I am not, you know, I believe in God. I believe that I will get to see them again. We cannot restore the time that's been gone. But I also think too, and I think that you have a sense too, that, you know, maybe sometimes bad things happen so that some people will speak out and get things changed. And in a situation like many grandparents who are crushed and silenced and can't see their grandkids, or in a situation with your daughter, you know, they can't speak out because the moment they do, a court's going to slap them up with more fines and everything else.
Right.
We can't. What do they want to say to me?
Right.
You know,
Well, my daughter,
and we have that moral obligation that you talked about.
I
to speak.
do. You know, and a lot of the parents that we've lost, and I'm sure you know some, you know, especially Dominic. I'm not going to say his last name, from Chicago.
I know.
Oh my goodness. I couldn't even look at Dominic's picture even a year later.
I know.
And my husband, you know, as I'm talking to him about his case and everything, I would just sob.
Yeah.
It's almost like it was my kid.
They were guilty of murder. The people
just,
that did that were guilty of murder.
Well, they haven't prosecuted it yet, because the same
can't.
court that violated him doesn't want that to come out, you know. And
I know.
It's just,
and that's where if we don't speak, this evil perpetuates itself.
Right. Yes.
We may be a very lone voice, but at least we are a voice of protest.
Look at Senator Schaefer from Georgia.
Yeah, Nancy Schaefer.
Because she spoke up.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
She and her husband both.
And to this day, she's still loved. I mean, I was out in Georgia earlier this year for the first annual Nancy Schaefer Memorial. Remember, it's in her home city.
Yeah.
And
that was a good idea to have it there.